Hey there, and welcome to an off-topic snippet. It's going to be a little bit shorter, a little bit sweeter. I'd like to select my grandmother, but while she was short, she was also racist, so probably not much like her. Anyway, today I'll be talking about Arrow. It's going into its final season, so I feel like it's only fair to be talking a little bit about it. Now, when Arrow first started, I was entering into the military, so I had heard about it, and I grew up watching Smallville, which was cheesy, but when it's all that you have, you don't really know how awkward it is, and it's still, DC royalty, that show. Anyway, this is Arrow's final season. It's not even a full season. They're going to do like 10 episodes, and then next thing you know, it's over. So I thought, why not write a love letter, remembering what Arrow has done? See, Arrow and I haven't always been on good terms. From the back half of Season 3 forward, things got pretty rocky. Season 4 really tested things between us, but when Prometheus showed up the next season, all was forgiven. Stephen Amell, which I still don't know if it's Stephen or Stefan since it's with a PH, he brought a way new intensity to the superhero genre. I mean, he was killing people, he had PTSD, he was trying to make up for the crimes of his father. It's just, you didn't see that in TV shows based on superheroes. And as the show comes to a conclusion, I think it's only fair to look back on what it's done. I mean, yes, the show basically weaponized Tumblr into a series of insane fanatics rooting for the actual actor that plays Green Arrow to leave his wife and child to go join up with the actress who played his will they won't they love interest until they did in the show, which is horrible. I mean, yeah, it killed off Oliver Queen's love interest, Laurel Lance, aka normally Black Canary, and has more leather for its superheroes and villains than you'll find in most BDSM shops. But the show has also done more than that. I mean, it's definitely done some rough things with its organic writing, but the show gave us a look at an unhinged and broken hero. It's like an amazing season villain for season 1 with Malcolm Merlyn. It gave us great Ra's al Ghul. I mean, that dude it's hard to top Liam Neeson, and he did it. He totally had his own thing. And that wasn't a season that a lot of people look on fondly, and it's still really well done. Plus Deathstroke, my God, that guy, he's amazing. And, I mean, if you ever watch Spartacus, basically half of the Spartacus cast is in some CW show at this point, and it's always wonderful to see them. The show made you really not like Oliver Queen. I mean, he was on a boat sleeping with the sister of his at-the-time girlfriend. He was a slimy douche. But when he came back, as tortured as he was mature, and he was a grown man that acted like an adult. And, it's interesting to see that much character development in just one season due to flashbacks. The martial arts of the early seasons is still pretty hard to top as far as, content goes. I mean, it was incredible. I don't know what type of martial arts it is. It's very rolly. It's got a lot of crossbody grappling. It's very cool. And again, Prometheus was a villain that I believe may be the best villain they've had on the show, period. And Malcolm Merlyn and Slade Wilson, they set a pretty high bar, but just such a true sociopath. I mean, the series is able to go and really deal with action and darkness and grit that The Flash and Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and now maybe Batwoman can handle, but those others, they just couldn't touch it. And for years, this was our only way to really get to it. It was basically the Bourne Identity, but a little bit green and with like a medieval archery vibe. I mean, villains that really just chew up scenes, it really helped make this whole thing just a fantastic show to watch. I mean, that's not even touching on all the shows that have been spun off from it. Like I mentioned before, I mean, The Flash, Barry Allen showed up on Arrow. I mean, to help Oliver Queen locate a super soldier hyped up on Mirakuru, which was the CW version of a World War II attempt at making super soldiers. But this time was for the Axis powers, not the Allies. Sarah Lance and Ray Palmer, who both first appeared on Arrow, would later go on to be in Legends of Tomorrow, which is a fantastic show in a completely different right because they embraced all of the campy ridiculousness of comic books. He's now crossed paths with Supergirl, Superman, Batgirl. He's fought Nazi doppelgangers. I mean, it very much started off as just a sort of Batman Begins inspired, gritty parkour, almost spy-style franchise. But when this started, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was just getting started as well. Like, that's how long ago this was. And people now realize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is fantastic because, I mean, that writing is phenomenal. But that's for a different time. See, that's why it's called Off Topic. But at the time, Arrow was like the sign that a superhero show could still do well. After the ending of Smallville, there wasn't really much for comic book fans to watch as far as syndicated TV. There wasn't a cartoon. And you can only get away with watching cartoons when you're on your own. If you have the DVD box collection, you have a friend over, they're like, oh, you've been watching that? I mean, realistically, they shouldn't, because I think at this point, at the time of recording in 2019, we're aware that cartoons are pretty cool. Not all of them. Like, I'm not watching My Little Pony, ever. But, I mean, I'll go back and watch an animated Batman or Justice League. The X-Men had the best animated theme, period. But Arrow really showed that the syndicated comic book TV show could succeed in a modern era, and it didn't have to be campy. It could be scary and dark sometimes. And because of that, now we do have all of these other shows, and whether you like these shows or not, the fact that there's so many of them currently, like the new Watchmen series and so on, is, I believe, proof that Arrow did well and succeeded, because it could have died off in one season. I mean, Arrow's record isn't spotless, but it's sure as hell impressive. I mean, it could have just been a one-off show that ended. I remember when it was announced, people were upset that it wasn't a continuation of Smallville, and I think we're all pretty happy that it isn't, because it's a fantastic show in its own right. I mean, it's grown on to 8 seasons now, and it's had incredible crossovers that even if I'm not keeping up with the season, I'll usually binge watch the season after it's all come out, but I still make time out of my schedule to go watch the crossovers as they happen, because they're always wildly entertaining. Yeah, fans have really come and gone for the show along the way. They've joined for reasons, they've left for reasons. But no matter what the story was about, you could tell that the actors were really giving it their all. I mean, Stephen Amell has to do an insane amount of working out and healthy eating in order to stay in the shape that he's been in since season 1. I mean, wow, it's impressive. You just can't phone it in when you have to do, all these crazy American Ninja Warrior workouts in an opening scene. And I think he's also grown as an actor. I mean, the whole cast is phenomenal. I've loved Diggle. When they introduced new characters, Ragman was pretty cool, even though his name is not the best. Wild Dog is potentially one of my favorite characters, just period. He's just such a sassy jerk, and it's not very often you can cosplay as a character with nothing but, hockey gear, so that's nice. So, as Arrow comes to a close, Stephen Amell begins his journey from Green Arrow to wine lover and likable Canadian. We thank you for a journey none of us expected, and for giving us something unique and wonderful. Your physical presence has intimidated fans and co-stars alike, and your kindness has echoed across Comic-Cons and your F-Cancer fundraising campaigns. It won't be the same without everyone's favorite Angry Archer and his vigilante squad around. The cast has been amazing to watch and has truly evolved over the years. They've gone from people playing a more modern, realistic incarnation of a comic book character to people that fully understand who they are, why they are this character, and it's just a treasure to watch. You have not failed this city. You've done what nobody else could. We wish you all the best, and we thank everyone involved for the adventure you've given us. What a show. I mean, truly, for all the ups and downs, it's hard not to look back on it and enjoy it. From being 5 years trapped on an island, the plot twists, the WWE crossovers. I mean, he literally fought a dude in a WWE SummerSlam match, had a move called the Green Arrow, and then had the guy he fought come and be a bad guy and a really good season of Arrow. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened before. Also, I would like to point out, not related to the show, but when he jumped the fence and then hopped into the ring, you can tell the dude was legitimately in shape. And it's one of the more like recent seasons that he was filming at the time. That dude can move, and he is a giant. So, more power to you, Steven, and everyone else involved in that show. Even the actress who plays Felicity, I'm sure she's a very polite and kind person. She just, unfortunately, attracts a very toxic fan base. But it's the internet. Sort of a given. And as easy as it is to take shots at the CW, their cheesiness and low budget, it does feel a little sad saying goodbye. Well, guess I have a few more seasons to buy on DVD now. Until next time, this has been an off-topic snippet.